Hey guys, got a question for you. When you think of like movies with cursed productions, what comes to mind? Does Exorcist come to mind? Does Poltergeist come to mind? Or moving away from horror films, what about Wizard of Oz? 1939. Yeah, 1939 version, not any of the others. Yes, the very cursed production, but this video is not about that cursed production. It's gonna be about the movie itself because it is a renowned classic, and I thought it'd be fun to chat about that one today. So how about we get right into the characters you'll need to know for this video right now in 3, 2. Alright guys, I'm sure you know which characters I'm going to be listing anyway, especially considering how popular this movie is. But you know what? I'm gonna anyway. You got what got out in this section. So first you got Dorothy Gale, played by Judy Garland, of course. The Scarecrow, played by Ray Bolger. It's either Bolger or Bolger. I don't know how the G is sounded. Although I do know some, behind the scenes stuff about that actor. But I'll save that for maybe a video where I'm talking about the behind the scenes stuff and not the movie itself. Then there's the Tin Man, played by Jack Haley. There's the Cowardly Lion, played by Burt Lahr. There's the Wicked Witch of the West, played by Margaret Hamilton. Glinda the Good Witch, played by Billy Burke. The Wizard is played by Frank Morgan. Toto is played by a little dog named Terry. And I'm pretty sure Terry actually that dog got paid more than some of the main actors. Basically, I think it might have been either Margaret or Judy, but I don't know. And Aunt Em is played by Clara. I believe this is Clara Blandick. So yeah, that's basically all the characters you're really gonna need to know. So let's just get right to the movie. So the story begins in no other place but Kansas in the US. A very long time ago. I'm not quite sure when. I'm sure it's like the 1900s or very early 1900s. But basically there's this farm, and then there's Dorothy, and we meet her when she's hurrying home with her dog Toto, and she seems worried that this lady that apparently owns half the county, as we learn 10 minutes later, and not even 10 minutes later, is mad because Toto, every time when Dorothy walks home with Toto, she passes by this lady's house, and the lady, who's played by the same actress that plays the Wicked Witch, by the way. Both are played by Margaret Hamilton. She keeps getting mad because Toto will chase her cat and stuff. So basically, Dorothy's heading home. She gets home. She tries to tell the farm hands, ranch hands, whatever they're called, whatever they're called, who also are the same actors that later we see playing the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion. Basically, there's a lot of the actors play multiple characters, which ties into the "it's all a dream" thing, which feels kind of dumb, but I'll get to that when we get to the end of the movie. Basically, eventually she comes, the woman, and she's talking about how Toto's gonna have to go, we bit me, that kind of thing. And Dorothy obviously is like, no, you can't take my dog. But ultimately, Aunt Em and Uncle Henry, Aunt Em and Uncle Henry being, Dorothy's family, who's raising her, supposedly because the parents are dead. The movie never says where Dorothy's actual parents are, and she just lives with her uncle, and I guess there's the farmhands. Doesn't say if they're family or anything, I don't think. But they're there. Probably just some men that got hired to work on the farm, or on ranch, whatever it is. Probably just, probably farm. Ranches are a little different. There's no horses there, that's for sure. But basically in the end, like, Aunt Em and Uncle Henry had to agree to hand over Toto and stuff because this woman was threatening to get the sheriff and stuff, and there's like this little line at Aunt Em, like, says, like, she's all angry at the woman. I don't know why I don't remember her name, but, I mean, ultimately, she doesn't really matter that much. Miss Gulch! That was her name, Miss Gulch. Just now remembered. But basically, Aunt Em's like, oh, there's something I've been wanting to tell you for like 20 plus years or whatever, but I can't say it now because I'm a Christian woman or something. And to me, it's just like, oh, well, why didn't you say it 20 years ago, like 23 years ago, but before you converted to Christianity? Yeah, about that. Or, hey, you know what? Just don't tell anyone, you know? Man upstairs, God, he won't know. Surely God would give a pass. Surely he would give a pass if you're yelling insults at a terrible person. Surely he would. I mean, he's given passes before. Just go look at the Bible. But this isn't about religion. This is about Wizard of Oz. Basically, ultimately, Dorothy's crying in her room. But then suddenly, Toto's there. Toto's back. He escaped out of the basket that he had been put in by Uncle Henry for Miss Gulch to take. Oh, yeah, I know her name now. I remember her name. I don't know why it slipped my mind. Great memory, but apparently not then. And Dorothy's like, yay, Toto's back. And she's like, wait a minute. We have to run away. And so she's heading down the road. She comes across, this fortune teller guy, who's, I guess, having dinner or something. I'm assuming it's around dinner time. Cooking, I believe, sausages, some sort of meat, over a campfire. And Dorothy stops by and, being a fortune teller, this man, who's also played by Frank Morgan, by the way, hence why there is correlation between the Kansas characters and their Wizard of, their Oz counterparts. Miss Gulch, the Wicked Witch of the West, are both villainous characters. The Wizard is a charlatan. This fortune teller is a charlatan, but both are good in heart or whatever. But basically, he's like, they're talking, and, he proves to her that you can read her mind or whatever. And then, Dorothy, she's like, hey, maybe joining this guy is a good idea, If I'm gonna be running away, I'm gonna need some place to stay, so how about I join this guy? And then, this man, he's like, I need to go ask my crystal ball. And using the crystal ball, he kind of describes that he can see Aunt Em in there, and that she's crying, she's sad, she looks hurt, heartbroken, whatever. And this is him talking Dorothy back into going home. Like, don't run away, go home, go to your Aunt Em. Aunt Em, her name is brought up so much in the movie, yet we barely ever see her. It's kind of fun to think about. So Dorothy heads home. But before she could find her family, because she's actually scared, she's kind of scared, because of what the fortune teller dude said, made her think that Aunt Em is actually sick. I mean, I'm sure she's sad, but I wouldn't say she's sick. It's been 5 minutes. No. She probably wouldn't be sick for another, week. But, that's not the point. Basically, a tornado comes. Out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know too much about tornadoes. I know just about as any other average person would know, but I mean, I do feel like it's a little odd that a tornado just happened to show up at that moment out of nowhere. And I guess tornadoes are kind of out of nowhere, but how convenient for the plot so that Dorothy still doesn't find her family, because everybody else is going into this underground room that I guess is a storm safe. For safety from storms. I think they still have those in many places. But you still have those in many places. But basically, they're in there. And Dorothy ends up in the house. So when Dorothy being in the house with Toto, the house gets lifted into the sky, and she's seeing things out her bedroom window, but ultimately she's like trying to hide her in her bed. Hide on her bed. She's scared. and when the house lands, she's somewhere else. Alright, so her house has landed, tornado seems to be over. So she goes to the front door. Everything's a mess. She opens the door. That's definitely not my farm in Kansas. Instead there is a colorful town square, I guess. And when I say colorful, because up till now, the entire movie has been, the usual, like, black, gray, white film, film coloring that is normal for the era which this movie came out. But to get the coloring, they made the studio's room, like, they made the sets very bright, so. And I guess, it's a pretty cool way to separate the Kansas scenes from the Oz scenes. One world's just the Oz, Kansas, whatever. There's like the magical world with the Munchkins and talking scarecrows and the witches. So basically, she's wandering around like, where did I go? And then a pink bubble appears, and with the pink bubble is a lady in a very poofy pink dress. I honestly love Glinda's dress. I love it. Glinda's like asking her, "Are you a good witch, bad witch? Are you a good witch or a bad witch?" And like Dorothy's like, "I'm not a witch at all." And then and Dorothy also says, "Witches are all ugly and bad or whatever." And then you hear laughing, which obviously is the Munchkins who are all hiding because they don't know if she's a good witch or a bad witch. And Glinda's just like, "No, I'm a good witch. Only bad witches are ugly." And if you think about that for a second, she literally was just asking Dorothy, "Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Or are you calling Dorothy ugly? What are you doing, Glinda? You're saying bad witch is ugly? Come on. Judy Garland's very pretty. Come on, yeah. Calling her ugly?" Yeah, that's just a tiny thing. If you think about it, it makes Glinda seem like such a jerk. It's well, if it's based off of your attractiveness, then I'd probably say if Judy Garland as Dorothy was, if she was, a witch and not just a random farm girl, she'd be a good witch. Also, this movie kind of do Margaret Hamilton dirty, but you know what? Yeah, she's some makeup and stuff. She's playing a witch. Yeah. Anyway, my finger. Just noticed a cut on my finger thing. Basically, the Munchkins come out because, apparently, when Dorothy and her house landed in Munchkin Land, they landed on the Wicked Witch of the East. Everyone's celebrating, You know the drill. It's the little ding dong, the witch is dead song. And then, red smoke, fire, whatever, and the Wicked Witch of the West shows up. And Dorothy says, "Wait, I thought you said I killed the witch." And then Glinda's like, "Oh, no, that's her sister. I forgot to mention her. Yeah, that's her sister. She's probably gonna be real mad." And as you expect, the Wicked Witch is a Wicked Witch, And then, Glinda's "Oh, hey, how about your sister's ruby shoes? How about you get her ruby slippers?" And then Wicked Witch is like, "Wow, that's a good idea. I should have my sister's shoes now that she's dead, because a house fell on her." Ruby slippers aren't there, though. They're on Dorothy's feet now, which honestly, Glinda is such a jerk when you really think about it. Glinda's such a jerk. Now you're making Dorothy a target. Why? Why would you make Dorothy a target? There was no reason. Like, literally, the Wicked Witch would already be mad enough that the house happened to fall on her sister, like Dorothy's house. But now you're putting the ruby slippers on Dorothy's shoes and refusing them to give the only thing that the Wicked Witch really has left of her sister. Now, granted, I know the movie goes on a bit about how, the ruby slippers have great power or something, but I never get to see that. Really, the most we see is that it has teleportation abilities, which Wicked Witch already has a broomstick. Does she really need to be able to teleport? I mean, that'd be way more convenient than having 5 broomstick everywhere, but still. Okay, now I'm thinking it's like Wicked with this. Now I can think it's the Wicked musical. And like a comedy skit I made. That was decently fun to make. I could do a Bender Glinda impression though. Maybe I'll do that at the end of this video for a little treat. Like, do it at my top-notch performance, because I did actually, in that skit, I had to keep my voice kind of hushed because it was 3 a.m. I was recording that comedy skit at 3 a.m. So, like, my, Ariana Grande Glinda, impression wasn't the best because I was trying to be kind of quiet because it was 3 a.m. and everyone was asleep but me. But, yeah, but back to Wizard of Oz. Going back to 1939, not 2024, 2025. Ultimately, Wicked Witch leaves because she's like, "I'll get you, my pretty little dog too." You know the drill. Well, now Dorothy's gotta get out of here. Dorothy's like, "Wait, I need to get home," and so Glinda's like, "Well, the Wizard of Oz can help you. He's in the Emerald City. The wizard. He can help you. Munchkins will see you to the war. I'll see you another day. Goodbye. Good luck, kid." And so the Fall of the Yellow Brick Road song comes on and stuff, and she heads off. She heads off to go see the wizard. So, during her journey with Toto along the Yellow Brick Road, which is, amongst other things in this movie, one of the most iconic, just things in general in cinema, like, I was gonna say symbol, but maybe not, symbol might not be the right word, but she comes across this, cornfield, I guess she's in Oz's farmland now. Hey, there you go, you're in Kansas. This farm, it's Kansas now. Alright, she realizes that there's a scarecrow who is talking. And so she starts talking with the scarecrow, and the scarecrow, he says he wishes he had a brain, and he wants to get down from the pole that he's tied to. So Dorothy helps him down, and then, they do a little song and dance about how much he wants a brain, and then she's like, "Well, hey, would you like to join me to go to? Would you like to join me to go to the wizard? Maybe he can give you a brain. Maybe he will." And I mean, hey, even if he doesn't, it's better than being tied to a stick pole the rest of your scarecrow life. So he agrees, and they do, I guess, a reprise of, Follow the Velvet Road. Literally, they start singing this song again after every new friend that joins the group. So they keep walking. And soon they end up in a forest with a bunch of apple trees. Dorothy, I guess, feeling hungry, obviously. When's the last time this girl's eaten? She picks an apple from the tree, but then the tree starts yelling at her. And the scarecrow, actually showing that he does indeed have a brain in there, even though it probably isn't a conventional one that, actually living things would have, being a scarecrow and all. It's like, that's not how you get an apple from these guys. You insult them, and then they start throwing apples at you. Then, there you go, you have your snack. So, Dorothy, while picking up the now thrown apples, since, they pissed off the apple trees, the living apple trees, the heck is happening in this fictional world? now that, she's done doing that, she comes across a frozen Tin Man. He's just saying, just a frozen Tin Man who's, like, holding an axe. Yeah, he's a Tin Woodsman, I guess. So, and she realizes Tin Man's trying to say something, so she calls over to Scarecrow, and they see that there's an oil can. They realize, oh, he's saying oil me or whatever. And so they do. So Dorothy does that, and now the Tin Man can move. And he's like, oh, did the rest of me. I haven't moved in ages. Which, the way he's sighing, like, I'm sorry, but in my head, in my edgy humor, dirty minded filled head, the way he's sighing in this scene when he's like, it was literally, oh yes, that feels good. Oh, that's a good spot. Like, that's literally what it feels like. And you guys, if you guys are same-minded as me, you'll know what I'm thinking of. You'll know what I'm thinking of. Anyway, Tin Man starts being like, oh, yes, but bang on my chest, which also sounds wrong, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Alright, so they do. It's hollow. And they're like, yeah, well, it's hollow. That's cool. That's really cool, Tin Man. And he's like, but I don't have a heart, which means, like, okay, so, like, you're heartless? He's evil. No, he's not. He just wants a heart. What's the urge, though? Dorothy's like, well, maybe if you come see the wizard with us, he'll give you a heart. This is basically just how it goes. Like, we meet someone new, they have an issue, come with us, the wizard will totally give you a heart. This is when, as they're about to head off or whatever, the Wicked Witch shows up. And this is the first time that Scarecrow and Tin Man get to see the Wicked Witch, which the Scarecrow already did know about. Dorothy mentioned it to him when they met. And after the witch, tries to set them on fire or whatever, like, Scarecrow and Tim are like, oh, we'll make sure you get to the wizard. Even if we don't get to brain and a heart, we'll get you to the wizard. So then they head off during a little reprise of Follow the Yellow Brick Road, and they end up in a even more foresty area, so foresty that the Yellow Brick Road isn't nice and slick and clean anymore, per se. And there's dirt and stuff in it. That's it. Sorry guys, I was looking at my phone, there was a notification, Instagram notification. Anyway, Cowardly Lion, they meet the Cowardly Lion, after being scared that lions and tigers and bears, so am I, or whatever. It's like, to me, the way they say that lions, they're walking seems so unnatural, and, like, obviously I know, and the only way I can accept it is by being like, it's a fantasy movie, they're not in a real world, but Dorothy's real. Dorothy, why are y'all being like, lions and tigers and bears, oh my, y'all don't sound scared, you look scared, you don't sound scared, but yet you're supposed to be scared? I don't know, like, I felt like that was some weak acting right there, because, facial expression's on point, but the way y'all saying it just doesn't sound genuine to me. Like, oh, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, lions, tigers, and bears, they're not even from the same, what the heck is going on with all this ecosystem? I don't even think those three animals are from the same, like, areas. So yeah, why can't I take this seriously? Help. I'm telling you guys, when I was little, I actually did not like this movie that much. Like, I would watch it, but to me, it was like with Disney's Snow White and Cinderella, to which those two I still don't like. I find those movies very boring, but I have grown to like Wizard of Oz. I have grown to like it, and, that doesn't mean I don't respect Snow White and Cinderella. For you, like, fans of Disney's original Snow White and Cinderella movies, that doesn't mean I don't respect them, because I do know what big milestones those two movies were. Snow White for cinema in general, and Cinderella being Walt Disney's favorite movie that he ever worked on and for his company or whatever in general. But Wizard of Oz I have grown to actually personally like. Obviously, Curse production aside, it was a great movie. Wizard of Oz is a great movie when it comes down to it. But we know about the Curse production, which I think would be an interesting video made. I know plenty of YouTubers have made a video about that before, but hey, why not one extra? Maybe I'll do that sometime. But this is about the actual movie. So basically, the Cowardly Lion shows up. He's being all threatening and stuff. But then he says, go after Toto. And Dorothy, obviously being like, she is so protective of this dog, which is understandable. But it's like, I have a feeling, like, Toto, like, I don't know if the movie actually mentions why she's, like, so attached to this dog. But unless they did say it somewhere in the movie and I just didn't catch it, like, it must have been something from her parents. Were her parents? Well, obviously dead, but, like, what happened to her parents? I'm assuming Toto must have been, like, a present from her parents before their supposed passing. And that's why Toto's so important to her. That would make sense to me, at least. Basically, she ends up slapping this lion across the face. And you know what? Why am I talking about the Cowardly Lion? I am scared of the lion, at least I was when I was little. I still find him a little unsettling and just feels wrong about the Cowardly Lion to me. But, like, that character, like, lions may be my favorite animal. Like, they're my favorite animal, but this lion can go in the trash. Like, nothing against the actor or, like, the costume or whatever. As a little kid, I was just terrified of this character. Man, screw the Wicked Witch. Like, Wicked Witch wasn't scary. I can see the Wicked Witch all day. My little kid me could see that Wicked Witch all day. I wasn't really scared. But that lion terrified me. Maybe it was the costume, but... I know, being 16 now, obviously, obviously it's not so scary, but, like, still a little unsettling. Maybe it's the actor. I don't know. I don't actually know why, because, like, I love lions, but I don't love this lion. So, yeah. Basically, all in all, they, and all in all, they realize, this lion's just a big baby, he's a coward, and, because Dorothy's such a kind, sweet, 16-year-old, same age as me, girl, I'm assuming 16, that's how old Judy Garland was, poor Judy Garland, that was Judy Garland's, that's a tragic story, but that's also for another video, that's for my, maybe the video I might make, probably will. Got nothing else to work on, really. No, but I can make any video I want, so long as it's not, like, inappropriate or for YouTube. But, basically, she's like, wait, come with us to see the wizard, you can get courage. And so, he joins them. The Cowardly Lion joins them, and now we have a group of 5 if we're including Toto the dog. They are all arm in arm, skipping on the road, doing the little reprise of the, Follow the Brick Road, Yellow Brick Road song. And then, finally, they reach pretty much the end of the road. So let's go talk about that in the next section of this video. Alright, so they're on the edge of the forest now, right? There's a field of poppies in front of them. Now, unknown to them, the Wicked Witch of the West, back at her little castle in the west side of Oz, was like, well, nothing happened when I threw a fireball at them, so let's try something different. And obviously, poppies have something in them that can make a person sleepy, so as the Scarecrow, Tin Man, Dorothy, and Cowardly Lion and Toto are all running through the poppy field, all happy because they're like, hey, Emerald City's right there, the wizard's right there. Toto, Dorothy, and Cowardly Lion all start getting kind of sleepy. Toto obviously getting to sleep, falling asleep first because he's so tiny. Then Dorothy, because, she's a human girl. And then, the lions, Cowardly Lion was like, yeah, you know what, nap doesn't sound too bad, and falls asleep as well. Obviously, Tin Man and Scarecrow not being, natural living beings. being a man literally made of tin, and a scarecrow that's just straw. Like, they obviously are not affected by the poppy thing, but they're also just freaking out. They're like, why are they sleeping? Like, we can't, they're too heavy, they even drag. Like, really? Really? Your cargo is too heavy for you to drag? Sleeping or not, I know, because, like, sleeping can add extra weight, I guess. You know, like, but, like, sleeping or not, really? You can't? You grown? Scarecrow, I'm assuming grown. Like, you cannot pick up this, like, 16-year-old girl. I mean, at all. Like, it's one thing though. Like, if like he was referring to, I can't carry her anymore. Oh, I can't make it all the way over there. It's just too heavy for that long of a walk. But like, dude, literally, like, she really won't budge. That's just a little dumb to me. But hey, luckily for them all, Glenda comes in and makes it. She makes it snow. So like, the snow obviously blocking out the poppy's scent or whatever it is that makes a person sleepy. I'm pretty sure like the pollen. Yeah, the pollen. Sounds so dumb when I can't remember stuff. one 110 it's a noodle. Talking about dinner right here. 110 IQ doing nothing for me, help. But not snowing, so they wake up, and while they're all, whatever, they realize, oh no, Tin Man, he's rusted again, he's frozen again, because he was crying, which rusted him, made him rust again, freeze or whatever. So, obviously they freaked out a little too much though, and like the camera even freaked out too much, because like, you got the oil can, you should just be like, no, instead of be like, oh my gosh, he's frozen again, you should have been like, oh no, where's the oil can? It happened again. Where's the oil can? It should have been like, oh, okay, oil can. Here we go. Like, you tell me this doesn't happen like 10 times now? Because like this guy seems to cry a lot. I mean, no shade towards guys that cry a lot, but I mean, honestly, the Tin Man's basically a guy, but he's also like a Tin Man. But, for someone who has no heart, he sure has a lot of emotions, so... You guys get what I'm saying, right? Like, has no heart, therefore, where are all these, like, emotions coming from? Because emotions, like, obviously you need a brain to, like, process, to know what emotion you're feeling, but the emotions can also come from, like, the heart or whatever, like, you have that feeling in your heart for certain emotions. What am I talking about? Why am I going on, like, a science lesson, like, help. I'm supposed to be talking about fantasy, fictional fantasy, musical movie. But anyway, with the poppy field incident fixed, they head up to General City. Now they're at the gate. There's a sign that says, don't ring the bell, please knock. They ring the bell, it works perfectly. Gatekeeper or whatever is like, don't you guys ring? It's like, you can't ring the bell. So he closes this little hatch again, whatever, and then they knock, and like, as stupid as it is, like, it is a little funny. That little scene is kind of funny, but also it's like, you're already there to open the gate for them. Just open the gate. Why you gotta, like, it just comes off as more just gatekeeper, guard or whatever he is. Like, it just comes off as he's more stubborn than, like, he's like, the bell's broken even though it worked anyway. Also, this guy is also played by Frank Morgan, who plays, like, 4 different characters in this movie. The fortune teller dude, the wizard, this guard, the gate guard, and then whoever the guard dude is, that the other guard dude is at the actual castle itself, like, Wizard's Palace, whatever. But anyway, the dude lets them in, and they get a ride from a carriage that's being led by the horse of a mini color. Oh man, I'm tripping over my word. Horse of many color. But in every frame it, like, changes colors, and Dorothy's obviously quick to notice this, obviously for all of us, we know how this horse is actually changing colors, realistically, They just painted the horse a different color every next shot. It was like multiple scenes, multiple takes stitched together to film the one scene so that they could change the horse's color. But there's a little song or whatever, and why is there weird fuzz on my jacket? I actually don't know why. Is that my arm? My leg now. Okay. My leg is my arm, and my arm is my leg now. How many times have I had help in this one clip? This 6-minute, almost 7-minute clip. Anyway, the dude, coachman or whatever, he's like, yeah, I could take you to the Emerald Palace or whatever. I can go take you to the wizard. Well, you want to get, get some rest and taking care of the stuff first. So, after their oh so long and oh so tiring journey, let's be honest, besides the one time the witch actually showed her face and the poppy field thing, really the only thing they should particularly be tired from is, this is kind of excluding Dorothy. It should just be all the walking, really. I guess Dorothy's going through some emotional stress, obviously, being away from her Kansas farm, but when you think about it, the things you see them being, the way you've seen them being treated, with, I guess, massages or, restuffing or whatever for the scarecrow, for them, it's it seems like they look like they're getting makeovers, basically. Which, actually, never mind. For a girl like Dorothy, I'm sure she would love a makeover to make herself feel better, but honestly, she's been pretty optimistic this whole movie, so what am I to know? But anyway, basically, they get to, they finally get there, and then turns out Wicked Witch showed up. She showed up. And she did a little message in the sky that says, surrender Dorothy, or whatever. And obviously people being scared of the Wicked Witch for some reason, even though she really hasn't really posed any threat this whole movie. She kind of just shows up, does a little something, and then leaves. What real threat is she really showing? Making people fall asleep because of poppies? Well, apparently Gwen could just make it snow, so... she's not the most threatening villain. Iconic, and actually pretty cool in general, yes. But threatening? Nah. But anyway, citizens of the Emerald City go home and stuff, and these, obviously, they're, our main characters are alright, well, we gotta see the wizard now. But, until Dorothy brings up the ruby slippers, the guard there, also played by Frank Morgan, as I mentioned a minute ago, the guard there is no, you can't, but then he hears about the ruby slippers, he's like, oh, why didn't you start with that, come on, let's go in, come on, let's go. But then he comes back a minute later after they're all getting excited, and even had this whole song of the Cowardly Lion being the king of the forest or whatever. Again, I'm unsettling about that guy. I don't know what it is, but Cowardly Lion just, basically, the guard comes back being Wizard said no, go home, bye-bye. Then Dorothy obviously being oh, it's my only way home, she starts crying, and the guard's just silently kind of came back to that gate hatch or whatever, the door hatch, and the absurd amount of tears, you could tell it's not just fake crying, just water or something all over this dude's face. It's it may be funny to look at, but still, it's really? You're not sad for some random little girl? She's not even that little. The actress, Judy Garland, she was 16. She was my age. She was as big as me. I think about behind the scenes shit. All that stuff. It's kind of scary. She's the same age as me. Yeah, she was going through all the stuff that I will not be talking about in this video, because this video is supposed to only be for the movie itself, not the behind the scenes, post-production. But, I say, having opened this video with talking about movies of cursed productions, it's just, I'm gonna get y'all invested, hopefully. You guys do like my videos, right? You like hearing me just talk, right? What am I talking about? Alright, I'm sorry. I'm so gigglish in this one. I don't know why. I don't know why. But anyway, anyway. This makes the guard, her crime makes the guard be like, alright, fine, I'll let you all in. So he lets them in, and then Wizard of Oz has this, the wizard, he has this whole, production with the fire and stuff. His head, like, projection of his head. And, he's like, hey, who are you? And obviously there's terrified monsters, like, I mean... I don't, I can't say, I don't know, like, I feel like I'd have to experience it to know whether or not I'd be scared of a floating head that clearly looks like a projection, alright? Like, look, I know the technology wasn't all there, like, there wasn't that much technology for movies and whatnot in, like, 1939, but you're telling me, Dorothy, I look at this and be like, that looks a lot, really, really fake, that's not like magic at all, Why am I laughing so much during this video? I don't remember the last time I laughed this much during one of my videos. Probably one of my gaming ones, to be honest. Maybe the Minecraft ones. I do laugh a lot in those. Like, honestly, I see some of the most ridiculous stuff in Minecraft in my survival series. If you like Minecraft, you should go check that out. They are fun. The film. Yeah, you should check this out. If you're into gaming and Minecraft. But anyway... the wizard's like, alright, well, I hear what you guys want, but you gotta get me the witch's broom so you can prove that you're worthy of getting what you want. So this is when they head out to go get the Wicked Witch of the West's broom, which obviously they're like, well, we're gonna have to kill her to get our hands on that. So there's our, so this leads us to the climax of the movie. Off to go get the witch's broom. Oh, yeah, this is Bellatrix, by the way. This is my little kitty. One of my little kitties. I'll let her go now. She want a little hug from my kitty, my little Bellatrix Lestrange. Little Bella. She's got such a fluffy tail. And I'm just going to use the litter box that's in the corner of my room. Alright. Alright, so they're heading off towards the wet. Why are you two fighting? Oh, I didn't realize romance was in here. Maybe that's why she was getting all pissy. Alright. And now my phone is yelling at me. Okay. It's almost a minute into this one clip. Alright. They can just fight back there, whatever. It's like territorial shit. Romance and Bella. Romance is the new cat. But anyway, about Dorothy going off to the witch. So they're making their way along the path towards the witch's castle or whatever. And the witch knows this, and she's just like, alright, for my flying monkeys. Yes, they are flying monkeys. And I'm not gonna lie, their jackets remind me of, like, Arabia. The clothing in Arabia, which... and I think they even have little hats like that, so like... I have questions. I'll even put a picture of the flying monkeys right here. Just see if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. But anyway, the Wicked Witch, she sends the flying monkeys to go get Dorothy. She's like, alive and unharmed, please. Alive and unharmed. Do whatever you want with the other ones. I don't really care, They end up getting Dorothy and Toto, and, the Wicked Witch takes Toto away, and oh my gosh, Dorothy is so attached to this dog. I mean, but I really can't blame her. But the amount of attachment she has to her pet dog really makes me think it must have been, the last thing she has from wherever the hell her parents are, her parents probably dead, right? Where are your parents this whole movie, lady? Why are you being raised by your aunt and uncle? Can we get some more backstory on you? But it takes Toto away and stuff, and then she's like, just saying, Dorothy, hey, you want your dog back? I want those ruby slippers. And Dorothy's like, but Glinda told me not to give you it. And then she's like, alright, you want fine monkey there, go drown the dog, That got a kids movie. This is supposed to be a kids movie, by the way. Wait, this is a kids movie. Yeah, there are actually some dark stuff here. And yet, as a kid, the only thing that scared me was the Cowardly Lion, one of the heroes of the story. And speaking of Cowardly Lion, it's actually my grandma's favorite. Like, I remember asking my grandma, which of the three of them, like Scarecrow, Tin Man, Cowardly Lion, which one's your favorite? She's like, oh, the lion. I'm like, oh, I like the Scarecrow the most. So Scarecrow's my favorite character. Then I asked my mom the same question. She's like, the Tin Man. And I asked her again, like, a month later. She's like, And I'm like, last time you told me Tin Man. She's like, oh, I do? I said Tin Man. Oh, I see romance in my mirror. In my mirror. And just a little romance in my mirror. Hey, romance, you want to come over here? Romance! You want to come here? No? Alright, I'll move this a little so you guys can see him. There he is. He's a little albino Siamese. But about the Wicked Witch. Dorothy. So this this comment about like drowning the dog in the river, leaving the basket drown or something. I don't know. Makes Dorothy be like, hey, now wait a minute. There, take the ruby slippers, and Wicked Witch is like, yay! She's supposed to just yank them off her feet. It's like, all this conflict over shoes that, as far as we know, can do nothing but teleport people places. Oh, look at Romance. He's coming. He's coming. Hey, sweetie, you want to come here? Nope, you're already using a litter box, too. You gotta be kidding me. Is that all my room is to you guys? Because there's one litter box in here? There's 3 out there. Yeah, you two. Well, maybe not you two specifically, but the men. Male cats. Y'all were peeing everywhere. We had to get 4 litter boxes. Alright, he's being weird. Alright, basically, what was I talking about? Oh, right, the ruby slippers. She's about to, Wicked Witch is like, yeah, you're gonna give me the slippers? So she tries to grab the ruby slippers. I don't know why we're saying slippers. I guess, they're typically like high heels, just made of rubies. But, hey, I guess we call Cinderella's shoes the glass slippers, even though those are typically just high heels made of glass. So, I'll just call them the ruby slippers. But basically, she tries to take them, but then she's not able to. There's, like, all electrical crackles, salt and fire or whatever. And, she's like, oh, man, why was that being stupid? Of course I'm not able to just yank them off your feet. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to kill you in, like, an hour. Like, literally, she could just murder Dorothy right now, get it over with, get the shoes. But she's like, no, I'm just gonna torture you by having this hourglass that's counting down with the sand inside. How much more time you have left to live, Dorothy? Like, honestly, look, I know you're a Wicked Witch lady, but you've literally been wanting these slippers, all movie. Just kill her now. Just get her over with. Just saying. Anyway. Meanwhile, Tin Man, Scarecrow, Cowardly Lion, they're all chilling where the flying monkeys left them. And they're like, we gotta save her. So they head to the castle, sneak over the castle, and they're kind of looking, they're like, we got a barge in there. And Cowardly Lion, on and off his leg. Oh, I'll save her. I need you to do one thing. Talk me out of it. I don't know why I just did a deep voice like that, but I guess the Cowardly Lion has a really deep voice. Again, I don't know what makes me so unsettled by the dude. I don't know what it is, but, anywho, Romance. Come here, honey. No, come here. That's a soft tail. Like, Kitty has a soft tail. Help. Why am I talking like that? Okay, to him, sure, but to the camera, why am I doing that? Anyway, so eventually they're like, well, we'll disguise ourselves as the guards, because apparently the Wicked Witch has these green guard dudes. Never know anything about them. So basically, they get in that way. The thing is that they only found the place because Toto escaped. Toto managed to escape to get back to them. Forgot to mention that Toto did escape to get back to them. It's like me forgetting my Dead Poet Society reveal. Me forgetting to mention that Nwanda, Charlie dude, was expelled from the school at the end of Dead Poet Society. But anyway, this is about Wizard of Oz. So basically, they're there. They find Dorothy. They let her out. They start trying to escape. Obviously, Wicked Witch figures out she has the guards after them, and soon they are And soon they are, what's the word? Is Romance talking to Bluey over there? Are they just talking to Bluey through the door? Bluey's the other cat, my other cat. I have 4, and then 1 dog that you guys haven't met yet. I don't think you guys met Cedric yet. But, yeah, I do have a dog. It's a very fat Jack Russell Terrier. But, oh, sorry. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, right. They end up cornered in, like, this, like, castle tower or whatever. And Wicked Witch is there. And basically she's like, I'm gonna murder you all, or whatever. And so she sets the Scarecrow's arm on fire, and there just so happens to be a bucket of water there. So Dorothy uses it to set his arm. Set out the fire, you know, put out the fire. English. Not just English, doesn't matter. English, like grammar, correct words. Where are they, head? But this also gets on the Wicked Witch, and it melts her. Like you know the drill. Like I'm melting. Oh, what a cruel world, baby. Why'd I do that? All right, well, I am a very dramatic person, so. Alright, so basically she's melted, she's gone. You know, Dorothy's like, I already meant to set the Scarecrow. Put out the fire on Scarecrow's eye. And then she's like, I guess she says the guards are gonna kill them all, and the guards are like, yay, we're free, or whatever. What are you guys like? Are you guards? Are you slave guards? Are you slaves? Not just the guards. What's going on here? Oh yeah, at least y'all are free from the Wicked Witch. I can see Romance in the mirror. Hey, sweetie. You wanna come up here? Oh yeah, Bella's on the key right there. If y'all could see her little head. Maybe I'm gonna hold Romance for a minute. So with the witch, now they get the broom and they head back to go see the wizard once again. They're back in the Emerald City at the palace to see the wizard. Again, now that they had the broom in. And the wizard ends up being like, I'll see you tomorrow. And Dorothy's like, tomorrow? But we got you the broom. We did what you asked. Asked. Okay. Sound like I said something else. I don't know, maybe it's just the way that words can be pronounced sometimes by certain people. You know, the K's not so prominent in asked. What was I saying? Then the wizard's like, oh, but I didn't see in 20 years. But ultimately, Toto seems to have figured it out and went to this little curtain in the corner of the room and pulled it in, like, you know, you still hear the wizard's voice being like, I know the man behind the curtain, you know him. And then, like, you know, Dorothy and the others go over there anyway, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, who are you? And he's like, I'm the Wizard of Oz, you know. And, like, you know, obviously, Dorothy and them get all mad, like, what? And then, like, you know, the wizard's like, oh, no, I'm a good person, I'm just not a good wizard, you see, there's a difference, which, honestly, I mean, he does end up helping them in the end, so, unlike the Wicked, you know, the version of him in the Wicked musical, this guy is actually just really bad at magic, but he is a good person. Oh, no. He's like, well, Scarecrow, you don't need a brain, you already have one, but you know what, where I come from, the universities, there's men who go to universities, here's a diploma. Then, like, Cowardly Lion, he gets I guess a badge or something, for sure, yeah, it was like a badge, right, it's like, oh, well, for your services, here is a badge, because you're brave now, congratulations, you have courage. And Tim Man's like, oh, well, you know, financial good deed doers, you know, they they get a little token or whatever. So he gets like a little heart-shaped watch, pocket watch. So too bad, yay, he has a heart now. And Dorothy's like, what about me? I want to go home to Kansas. And Where's like, alright, I know, but yeah, you know, I'm gonna take out my old hot air balloon. And so this brings us out to, I guess, some courtyard that's in the Emerald City, like outside the palace. You know, there's a big crowd. Dorothy and the wizard's gonna, obviously there's a big crowd because the wizard's gonna be taking her home personally, which means he can never come back to Oz. So that leaves, you know, as he said, the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man to be ruling the Emerald City in his absence, unless he someday miraculously returns home. I say home, typically the U.S. is his home, not Oz, but he had a whole palace there, so if Oz is like his new home, I guess. So if he comes back there, typically, he's from the U.S. He didn't even mean to end up in Oz. As he said, something went wrong in some show or something, and he just flew off on his own air balloon and ended up in Oz. That's as he said in the movie. But basically, Dorothy, Dorothy and Toad are all in the hot air balloon, and they're about to head off. And when my finger hurts, man. I think I cut my nail too deep earlier. I was trimming my nails. Basically, Toto jumps out, and this leaves Dorothy with going after him. And then, for some reason, the air balloon, someone lost hold on the air balloon, and the wizard's gone. The wizard's gone. Dorothy's like, I'm stuck here forever. I mean, y'all good friends and all. Looking at the 3 friends she made along the way. She's like, y'all good friends and all, but I want my family. I want my Kansas farm bear. Where's Aunt Em? And she still thinks Aunt Em is like super sick and it's like gonna die or something like that. At this point, but then Glinda shows up, and Glinda's like, you can still go home. You've had the power to this whole time, and what did he give it to you? They're called ruby slippers. Which honestly is like, at this point, Glinda, you're a bitch. Honestly, that's what I have to say. Glinda, you're a bitch. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna look at that later when I'm done recording. Pretty sure it was a whole nother language that someone's trying to talk to me with, but whatever. Like I said, Glinda's kind of evil, y'all. Really? And she gets the most, BS, most reason why Dorothy couldn't have done this all along, which is she wouldn't have believed me if I told her that. Girl, Dorothy wanted to go home from this frickin' start. Of course, if you told her, these, just click your heels 3 times, then you're home, with these rubber slippers. Of course she's gonna believe you. She wanted to go home in the first place. They're like, Seth is scary or whatever. Girl, let's be honest. Literally, she already kind of learned her lesson with the fortune teller, dude. Right? The most that really happens on this journey is she meets some friends, she fights a wicked witch, and she is insanely homesick and thinks her aunt is literally on her deathbed or something, alright? She kind of already learned her lesson with the fortune teller tricking her because he's, a charlatan or whatever. A good-hearted charlatan, clearly, He could have just taken a 16-year-old girl and be like, yeah, join me on my, whatever show I do, I don't know. But I know about it, so Glinda! That is not a good reason, but in the end, apparently, this doesn't raise any red flags for anybody. Glinda is not really all that good, she's not that good, guys. But, Dorothy just, clicked her heel 3 times, and now she's home. turns out the whole thing was a dream. Like I said earlier in your video, I'll be talking about this, because, like, what's the point? Like, sometimes, for me, it's like, unless it's, like, some crazy plot twist, like, jaw-dropping plot twist kind of thing, like, that actually makes sense or whatever, like, you tell me the whole thing's like, why not watch this movie then? I mean, it's funny, it's good, Cowardly Lion is terrifying to me, oh, he's little me, now he's just unsettling, and, like, you know, just in just a weird way. I don't know how to explain my feelings about the Cowardly Lion now, but, basically, like, what do you mean it was all a dream? Why not watch this movie? There was no point in me watching this movie for you to just be like, oh yeah, you know, this stuff didn't even happen to begin with. She was just knocked out this whole time. Oh yeah, everybody's just there. Even the fortune teller dude was just sticking his head through her bedroom window, like, oh hey, the little girl I would talk to. I say little girl, I mean 16. I mean, I'm 16. Do I look like a little girl? I don't think so. But it was just like, yeah, the little girl I saw, like, right before that tornado, like, yeah, sure, there was, like, a storm, like, there was actually a storm, but, like, I still think that tornado kind of came out of nowhere. I guess it just seemed like a normal, like, rainstorm, thunderstorm, whatever. What are you doing, Romance? You okay, Romance? Why staring in the mirror, Romance? You gonna try to raise up Bella again, Romance? I mean, your name fits perfectly. He does try to, you know, I'm pretty sure he was not neutered, because he's still trying, he just, I don't know, the way he interacts with Bella sometimes feels like this cat is not neutered. She's spayed, though, so, like, you know, but, what was I talking about, right? Basically, she's home. End the movie. You know, she's like, oh, yeah, end the movie. So, last section before my final thoughts will be the songs, because there were songs in this movie. So, on to songs. Alright, let's be quick about the songs. Over the Rainbow, a little song Dorothy sings while on the Kansas farm, while she's still dreaming of far off places, which, I mean, what 16-year-old girl wouldn't? Come on, let's be honest. Alright guys, packing my bags. I'm gonna be a Stockholm for you today, goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Sweet song. Slow moving shit, but, like, still sweet song. Ding Dong, which is it. Okay, come on, let's be honest. As kids, did we not sing along to, like, almost all the songs? It is basically being Ding Dong, which is it, and Follow the Yellow Brick Road, and another one later on down this list I have written here. So obviously Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead is the song the Munchkins sing when the Wicked Witch Edith dies, and, you know, Follow the Yellow Brick Road is obviously the song they sing to Dorothy as she's about to head down the very obvious Yellow Brick Road. If I only had a brain, which is the song Scarecrow sings, that's a fun one. I'm telling you, Scarecrow's my favorite character. I think he's freaking hilarious. I laugh at a lot of it. And if I only had a heart, if I only had a heart is Tin Man's song. That's also nice. The songs in this movie are overall pretty good. Then there's, you know, obviously we're off to see the Wizard, which is the other one I know that all of us as kids, and maybe even as adults, were singing along to, you know, and dancing to, whatever. If I Were the King in the Forest, yeah, so Cowardly Lion's song. Because when he had a song when we first meet him, but guess not. Guess his only song is the one that's out right outside the Emerald City Palace. And again, good song, but something's off with that dude. Something just felt off with that dude. I don't know. Is it the actor? I don't know. Something just feels off in here when I look at the Cowardly Lion. Something feels off in here. I don't know why. But, then there is actually a deleted song called The Jitterbug that I want to talk about briefly. It actually was going to show up in the, whatchamacallit, when they're off to go get the witch, there was a deleted song called the Jitterbug, where these like jitterbugs are surrounding them. It's supposed to be a whole song and stuff. They recorded it. You can even find it. Like it's free access. But let's just go to my final thoughts. All right. So my final thoughts. After watching this movie, give it a solid score of 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 because there are some things that, look, I like Gunda and all, but she's kind of a jerk. She's kind of this Cowardly Lion unsettles me so much. I'm starting to really think it might be the actor, not the character. But I'm not exactly sure. But that's why it's 8 out of 10. But ultimately, yeah, classic. It's your old movie classic. Okay, romance. The good songs, lovable characters. Let's be honest. Almost everything about this movie is iconic in cinema. Dorothy, the witch, Yellow Brick Road, the wizard, Oz itself. Everybody knows this movie, even if they've never seen it. Everybody knows this movie, and we know that. We can all agree on that, right? So, like I said, solid movie. Just a couple things that I think are okay. The Cowardly Lion, I know, might just be a me thing for some reason. It's weird. I love lions, just not this one. What are you doing, sweetie? Oh, that's your toy. But yeah. Anyways, if you liked my rambling on The Wizard of Oz, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. My socials are in my channel bio, Instagram, Discord. And when I hit 50 subs, I hope to make a little Discord server. Because why not? Fun idea, right? Alright, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye now. Alright guys, I know at some point in this video I mentioned that maybe it's a little bonus at the end. I'll do my real, my top-notch Ariana Grande Gunda impression, because I didn't actually get it quite right in my skit because I recorded that at 3 a.m. so. Alright. Let me think of a line. Oh yeah, there's this line she says on the train station, she's like, he's not even perfect anymore and I still want him. This must be how other people feel. How do they bear it? Or earlier that she's like, something isn't right. I didn't get my way. That just a little bonus. Let's think of any other lines. Shit, why can't I think of any other lines? Alright, well I guess that's enough for y'all, right?